The new Motorola Razr just leaked, and honestly, it might be the most interesting affordable foldable of 2026, not because it's radically different, but because it's doing something smarter. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It really helps me keep bringing you more tech breakdowns like this one. Fresh leaked images of the Motorola Razr 2026, also known globally as the Razr 70, just dropped, and they reveal a device that's doubling down on design, colors, and overall value instead of chasing unnecessary upgrades. And that actually matters more than you might think. Because right now, foldables are stuck in a weird place. Premium models like Samsung's flip phones are getting more powerful every year, but also more expensive. That leaves a gap for something that feels premium without crossing that $1,000 line. And this Razr looks like it's aiming straight for that sweet spot. So let's talk about what's new and what's not. Starting with the design, if you were expecting a huge redesign, that's not happening here. The Razr 2026 looks very similar to last year's model. Same clamshell form factor, same overall proportions, and likely very similar display sizes and bezels. But honestly, that's not a bad thing. Motorola already nailed the basics: a sleek, thin profile, a solid hinge, and a clean aesthetic that doesn't scream experimental. So instead of fixing what isn't broken, they're refining it. Where things do change is in the colors, and this is where Motorola is clearly trying to stand out. This year's lineup swaps out last year's shades for 3 new Pantone options: Sporting Green, Hematite, and Violet Ice. The Sporting Green is easily the standout. It's bold, fresh, and actually gives the phone personality, something a lot of foldables lack. Violet Ice is more subtle but still stylish, while Hematite goes for a darker, more muted look, though it might not turn as many heads. And there's even a chance a 4th color is coming, which, if Motorola plays it right, could end up being the real showstopper. Now, beyond looks, the specs are where this gets really interesting, especially considering this is supposed to be the affordable model. You're getting a large 6.9-inch OLED main display with a sharp 2640 by 1080 resolution. That's basically flagship-level screen real estate. On the outside, there's a 3.63-inch secondary OLED display, big enough to actually be useful for notifications, quick replies, and even apps. Performance-wise, the Razr 2026 is expected to come with multiple RAM options going all the way up to 18 gigabytes, which is kind of insane for a non-Ultra model. Storage could go as high as 1 terabyte, so clearly Motorola isn't holding back here. Camera setup is also solid on paper: dual 50-megapixel rear sensors plus a 32-megapixel front camera. Not groundbreaking, but definitely competitive. Battery is another strong point: a 4500 milliamp cell paired with 33-watt charging. That's actually bigger than what some premium foldables offer, which could make a real difference in daily use. And then there's the form factor: just 7.2 millimeters thin when unfolded and weighing around 188 grams. That's impressively slim for a foldable, and it helps the device feel more like a normal phone. Now, here's the bigger picture. This phone isn't trying to beat flagship foldables in raw power. It's not trying to outspec everything on the market. Instead, it's trying to deliver 90% of the experience at a much lower price, and that's where it could really win. If the starting price lands around $800 like expected, that puts it significantly below competitors like Samsung's top flip phones, sometimes by as much as $300. And for most people, that trade-off makes sense. You still get large, high-quality displays, a premium design, solid cameras, and a battery that won't die halfway through the day. The only real compromise is peak performance, and for everyday use, that might not even matter. As for the launch, all signs point to an official announcement happening very soon, possibly by the end of this month. And depending on your region, the naming might differ slightly, but it's essentially the same device. So the real question is, should you be excited? If you've been curious about foldables but couldn't justify the price, then yeah, this is probably one of the most exciting options coming out this year. Because instead of pushing the limits, Motorola is focusing on making foldables more accessible without making them feel cheap. And honestly, that might be exactly what this category needs right now. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.